Welcome to Law & Order Sports. I'm the Saul Goodman of sports legalese, and today I have key updates on the Marshawn Lynch DUI case, the Henry Ruggs DUI case, Jalen Carter having a lawsuit filed against him for his involvement in that deadly crash while at Georgia, and Brett Favre dropping his lawsuit against Pat McAfee, but not Shannon Sharpe yet. Let's start with something fun, though. Here is my favorite quarterback stat of all time. Suck it, Marino. Suck it, Elway. Suck it, Brady. Suck it, Manning. Stetson Bennett didn't get a degree at Georgia. He's famously old, as he spent 6 years at Georgia, won 2 national championships, but didn't manage to walk out of there with a degree. Bravo, Stetson, bravo. You are truly the Tommy boy of the NFL.
You know, a lot of people go to college for 7 years.
I know. They're called doctors.
I know you were playing football, but what else were you fucking doing at college for 6 years? This news came just a few days after Justin Fields finished his degree from Ohio State in Consumer and Family Financial Services. Even more impressive, 59-year-old Todd Bowles fulfilled a promise he made to his mother, earning his degree. I love that for both Bowles and for Fields. I think you should always keep learning and evolving. That said, if I were in their position, no way in hell am I going back to school once I've made 7 figures. I might buy a school and give myself a degree, or just watch a YouTube video when I need to learn something. If Stetson Bennett decides to get a degree at some point, though, I hope it's in gerontology, the scientific study of old age. Something he could probably pass just by taking the final. Former NFL running back Bo Jackson has had the hiccups for nearly a year and is set to undergo the procedure to try and end this annoying medical condition nobody really understands. I'm assuming Bo Jackson has tried all of the previous medical cures for hiccups, like putting your hands in the air above your head, holding your breath while someone scares you, and of course, plugging your ears while snorting cocaine. Bo Jackson is widely considered one of the greatest athletes of all time. Pro baseball player, pro football player, the only guy to be an all-star in both pro sports, the only NFL player to have multiple 90-yard runs, the first true cheat code in a video game for sports. And fucking hiccups have brought this legend to his knees. Think about that. This is a man whose DNA, whose genetics are literally and physically superior to all of ours, and he is now being forced to go under the knife because of hiccups. I have never felt so vulnerable, so certain that I'll die an early death in my life. Brandon Perna dead at age 43 after sneezing. Today's episode is sponsored by my friends over at manscaped.com/goodsports. And Father's Day is coming up hot and fast, and it's time that your dad knows you're thinking about his hygiene and his body hair. Now, I've already given my dad the Lawnmower 4.0 for Father's Day. No clue if he uses it because, I don't ask my dad about his pubes. It's a code I live by. I've given him the Weed Whacker 2.0 nose and ear hair trimmer, which I knows he uses. And you can get your dad both with the Performance Package 4.0 for Father's Day. Recently, my dad copied me and grew a beard. And recently, Manscaped added the Beard Hedger. It's a beard trimmer, and this is 100% what he's getting this upcoming Father's Day. I use the Hedger every week for my beard, and its zoom wheel allows you to easily switch to 20 different beard lengths, and its titanium-coated T-blade cuts through the thickest of hair with ease. My dad is new to the beard game, so this is the one area I can actually teach him a thing or two since I've had mine for well over a decade now. Use my link below, manscaped.com/goodsports for 20% off plus free international shipping. All right, here we are in the law. Brett Favre officially dropped his lawsuit against Pat McAfee for defamation last week. Now, Favre agreed to drop the suit after McAfee agreed to accept Favre's dick pics at any time in perpetuity. Favre tweeted this about the situation. "I'm happy that Pat McAfee and I have settled this litigation. Like Pat said, he was attempting to be funny and not commenting based on any personal knowledge. We'd both much rather talk about football." And Wrangler jeans.
You can pay more, but you won't get more. Wrangler.
Now it seems like Favre could have saved himself a lot of time and possibly money by reaching out to Pat directly before suing him. Favre didn't drop this suit out of the kindness of his heart, in my opinion. I think he dropped it because Favre's complaint cites no false statement of fact made by McAfee. Favre's complaint does not allege that McAfee engaged in an unprivileged publication of false facts. Favre fails to properly allege that McAfee acted with actual malice, the key to proving defamation of a public figure, and Favre did not give McAfee 10 days notice before suing as required by Mississippi law. The Mississippi Department of Human Services is still suing Favre and other people and businesses in an attempt to recover millions of dollars in misspent welfare funds. That is a fact. Both McAfee and Shannon Sharpe did not make up the allegations or that lawsuit. Furthermore, a judge in April denied Favre's motion to have that civil suit dismissed against him, so maybe Favre should just focus his legal resources on the reason McAfee and Sharpe have criticized him, because he's being sued.
I'm comfortable.
Now, the lawsuit remains against Sharpe because, unlike McAfee, he can't claim that he was ranting about Favre in a comedic tone. Favre said Sharpe made egregiously false statements about him on the Fox Sports talk show, Skip and Shannon's Undisputed, including that Favre stole money from people that really needed money. Quote, Favre added, "Just because the Vikings have never won a Super Bowl, that doesn't make them poor people. What did I really steal from them?" If you watch Pat's episode, I'm not sure you can say he was being funny, but neither him nor Sharpe were wrong. And I'm assuming the suit against Sharpe will either be dropped or dismissed. And when that happens, CNN better also find the one picture of Shannon Sharpe where he looks as intoxicated as McAfee for their headline. Last week, I mentioned that former Raiders first-round draft pick Henry Ruggs had waived his right to a preliminary hearing in his DUI manslaughter case. Last week, Ruggs officially pled guilty and has now been sentenced to 3 to 10 years in a Nevada state prison, beginning on August 9th. Until that date, Ruggs will be under house arrest with alcohol and location monitoring devices. This isn't the most severe penalty that Ruggs could have received, but a statement from the district attorney revealed that the defense was trying to suppress the result of a blood draw that could have lost them the DUI charge altogether. So essentially, they had to settle for a more modest sentencing. Now, back in August, former NFL running back Marshawn Lynch was arrested in Las Vegas and charged with a DUI. Driving an unregistered vehicle and failure to drive in a travel lane. Prosecutors now suspect that Lynch's blood alcohol level was 0.18, which is more than twice the legal limit. Of course, you could also just look at this mugshot, and that could tell you everything you need to know. Based on this picture, I'm surprised it was only 0.18, honestly. When he was arrested, Lynch was asleep in the driver's seat, reclined, and wearing only one shoe. Now, Lynch has a trial date set for next week, May 24th, where his lawyers will argue that there is no evidence that proves Mr. Lynch drank anything or actually operated the vehicle on the night of the encounter, and that there was no evidence that the defendant consumed any alcohol after driving to the location he was found. In other words, this is why our legal system is so fucked. Lynch was found asleep in a damaged car, parked on a curb while being clearly intoxicated. And now he and his legal team will take up time in a court trying to argue that there's no evidence he drove that car drunk. If I were the prosecutor, I'd let the defense go on and on and on for hours making and pleading their case. And when they were done, I'd simply stand up and show this photo. Oops, no, this photo. And then I'd look right at the jury and ask, does this motherfucker look sober to you? No further questions, the prosecution rests. Meanwhile, I'm talking about two separate incidents in today's episode that resulted in death because of drunk driving. We all love Marshawn Lynch. He's a good dude, and he's given so much back because of his success. But he fucked up here. There's video evidence of it. He's lucky nobody was hurt. And it's a little annoying to see someone I respect like Lynch not owning up to his mistake. And look, I don't want to see Lynch in jail because, again, nobody was hurt. But I do want to see him be forced to do something to get himself help, if this is a problem, and to contribute to a greater good in society to help combat this shit. The good news for Lynch is he hasn't received a lot of public scrutiny over this, and that is because he's not corny. In fact, I think Marshawn Lynch has received more criticism for defending Russell Wilson than driving drunk. And finally, Eagles first round draft pick Jalen Carter is now facing a lawsuit from father of Devin Willock, Carter's Georgia teammate who was killed in a car crash in the early morning of January 15th, just a few days after Georgia had won their second straight national championship. Dave Willock is seeking $40 million in the lawsuit, which names the school's athletic association and Jalen Carter, as well as this auto group, which gave Carter a 2021 Jeep Cherokee Trackhawk in an NIL deal. The auto group is named in the suit because Carter had established a pattern of speeding tickets, and Willock Sr. claims that they should have considered that before giving the vehicle to Carter. As for Carter himself, he would have to pay $10 million if the lawsuit is a success. Georgia's Athletic Association is named in the lawsuit, as I mentioned, and that's because Willock claims they should have taken steps to ensure that LaCroix and Carter did not drive after a night of partying. Georgia's Athletic Association calls those allegations against them baseless and intends to fight them in court. And as a reminder, Carter was driving a separate automobile from the one that crashed, and Chandler LaCroix was driving the car that did crash. Here's the thing, and I understand the pain Dave Willock must be feeling, and I have great empathy for that. I'd be asking a lot of questions if I were him as well. We all know Carter, again, was not driving the car that killed his son, Devin Willock. We also know that he may have been racing with the car that crashed and killed Devin. I understand as a parent wanting to make sure that this type of thing doesn't happen to anyone else. But I find it hard to blame anyone other than the driver of the car. Chandler LaCroix was driving the car that crashed, and her blood alcohol level was more than twice the legal limit. She should not have been driving. It's horrible, it's tragic, and it's flat out sad. There's no way to get around that, and I have great empathy for Dave Willock, but this $40 million lawsuit feels a little misguided. I hope he finds peace, and hopefully this lawsuit can be mediated with the result that turns into a charitable effort to help ensure something like this is less likely to happen in the future. And this is the part of the video I usually ask you to subscribe, but as a reminder, we are currently raising money for the Alzheimer's Association. There is a link below. You can donate directly to my page. We're about $11,000 away from hitting the goal of $25,000, or you can purchase these branded Perna shirts. An April Fool's prank gone horribly wrong. Now I am selling those for $69 at benchwarmerbrew.com to raise money for the Alzheimer's Association. All proceeds from those shirts go directly to my fundraising page.